Captain John Grier showed up at the compound today with the Patriot Special 1776, sponsored by Discovery. How's she running, John?
Great, kid.
Beautiful day to take her for a rip. Hot damn, that was one beautiful bike. Wowee. Put God first and you'll never be last. That idle is awesome. This is a 512cc big bore Honda CR500 engine bored out. New crank, new piston, obviously everything's brand new on it. Frame up, restoration. I suppose I should take this out of my pocket before I take it for a rip. This thing's straight up nasty. The crank has been balanced on this one. Over here! Don't fuck up. Guys, safety first. When you're riding a CR500, make sure your glasses are firmly on. Your do-rag is in place. You gotta tighten your sneakers. Total novice move. Oh well. You know, you want to tighten your shoelaces, ladies and gentlemen at home, because if this gets caught in your shifter or something, you might have a problem. So what's your starting technique on the big 512, John?
I like to give her a couple slow kicks. Sometimes let the little guy run it through for me, and then get up the top dead center, get that last little click in there.
Who's this you got with you today? Who's this young guy?
This is Owen Thomas.
Rumor has it Owen Thomas has a CR80 on the 4th floor of the New England Motorcycle Museum. Shh, that they might be picking up today.
That's cool.
So yeah, just like the Wizard, always wear your garden sneakers when you're gardening. When you start your CR500 as part of the safety preparation package, for sure. Kick it past TDC. Good. Okay, I've never ridden this bike before, but Adam Millar told me that a good running 500 you should be able to start in 5th gear. I'm in 5th gear right now. Watch this. That was 5th gear. Try that with your 4-stroke. Hey John, when I'm doing a run by, when I'm on the other, give the folks at home a complete rundown of what's in the motor on this, okay? As soon as I'm out of earshot.
Alright, so it's an 89 CR500 motor. She's been bored out to a 91 millimeter. She's got a Wisner rod, rebuilt crank by Tom Morgan. Yeah, the head's been cut a little bit, squish span reset, get a little more compression out of it. We're running some V-Force reeds, backed up with a 38 millimeter air striker carb. It's got the MFC exhaust flange on there. Top and bottom both completely rebuilt, all new bottom end bearings with Honda OEM bearings. Other than that, she's pretty much a stock local boarding policy. Buddy, you and me? Here. I was going to see that front side and they're like, it'll stop, not even spinning.
Oh yeah. He got to hit one of those again.
Definitely. Good sign he brought it back in. Wow, that's one of the fastest 500. Well, it's a 512. I'm sure he went over the build spec with you, but he's put an incredible amount of time and money into this bike. He's been working on it for years.
You know, in this field, bikes are deceptively slow. Like I had a YZ500. Look on our channel, YZ500 4-stroke that put down 54 rear wheel horsepower, 10 more than stock. It was a built motor, and it seems slow in this field because it's perfectly flat and you can go fifth gear tapped. This thing didn't seem slow. It's got, I'm gonna guess it's probably putting down somewhere around 65 horsepower. If I was a betting man, I'd say 65. And at least 30% more torque than a stock 450 or a built 450. It's just straight up nasty. Yeah, it exceeded my expectations, John. Gorbid, does Eric Gore do this motor? Who did this motor? Or was it Tom Morgan?
This was done over at X-Pro.
X-Pro did the motor, but who did the crank?
The crank was Tom Morgan rebuilt the crank.
Tom Morgan. Who did the porting?
It was just me at home with the
thing's on point, man. You know, I'd like to get it on a dyno and see what she's putting down. Either at X-Pro's got a beautiful dyno there. I'd have Timmy do it. The jetting seems on point. Transmission, clutch are as good as any other 500 I've ever ridden. I'd say you got a winner there, man. Yeah. You might have set the high water mark, set the bar a little higher, like we talked in the last video.
Right.
Just a beautiful piece, man. Everywhere you look. There's another video we had done going over all the specs and the up close stuff on it, but this is the first time I got to ride it, and I'm always a little nervous riding somebody else's bike, especially with no gear on. A little nervous. Well, more nervous when I get off of it and go, that was really stupid. Fifth gear tapped, 75, 80 miles an hour. Wow. Don't try this at home, kids. Absolutely but it was definitely fun. But one of my biggest injury ever was on someone else's bike. You should never get on someone else's bike and send it. That's why I didn't go on the track or up on the jumps, and I wasn't trying to ride wheelies, because you gotta have. I have a personal law that I like to put 10 hours on an hour meter before I get on a racetrack with a bike, because in 10 hours of riding, you kind of get to the point where you don't want to double guess what the bike's going to do when you hit the face of the triple, or if you come up short, or if you're blitzing the whoops. You want to make sure the bike you want to know what it's going to do, and you want to practice lots of hole shots, because especially in the open class, you don't want to start off in 20th and have your beautiful bike get roosted by everybody. So there's only one part of the track that you can pass everybody at once in 4 seconds, and that's off the start, and that's where it pays off to have a motor like this. And the balanced crank, probably the best thing you did on this bike is, well, you know, according to the experts, to AJ Wagoner, Adam Millar, the guys I've talked to, Ben Probst, and Ben's done over 120 dyno runs that he doesn't own a dyno, paid out of his pocket for these dyno runs. You might want to come a little closer. The audio is not very good on this. I don't have a mic. We're just filming this off my phone, guys. I'm sorry. Junior's not around, so what was I saying?
The dyno.
Oh, the dyno. Yeah. The vibration on this bike is on point, and what Adam and the guys in the know told me is the jetting is key, the ignition and the timing is key. Ben Probst did individual dyno runs, changing simple things like the exhaust port manifold by MSV. Jason Meyer gave him an extra 2 horsepower. The intake from Adam Millar gave him an extra 2 horsepower. The big bore, the porting, the squish band on the head, the timing, the jetting. If the jetting's wrong and the unburnt gases are exploding in the exhaust chamber on a 2-stroke, that'll cause vibration. Simple things like the right motor mount bolts and making sure that there's no paint or that's not paint, is that?
That's powder coat.
Or powder coat in between the bolt and the engine, or the engine mount, because powder coat is really thick, and once it wears off, you could have a big space. We found that out. Well, I knew it, I've known that forever, but at Daytona, I thought Junior had checked his motor mounts. He didn't, and his motor mount bolts fell out in the middle of the race. And when your motor mount bolts fall out on a 500, in the video on Daytona, watch, he's going on a perfectly straight straightaway, a second, third gear short straightaway at the Daytona Supercross, and his hands just come off the pegs and he crashes. Why? Because the bars were vibrating violently. Little things like the bar mounts, the type of bars you have. This has a crossbar pad. We're running a non-crossbar pad. Because on a 500, let's face it, power isn't the problem. Stock, they've got 55 horsepower. Stock. which is one more than a new 450 and 25% more torque. We're talking about a 30-year-old engine with, you know, very simple two-stroke motor compared to the latest and greatest technology and fuel injection and everything. Power is not the issue. Being able to ride it for 20 minutes fast without hurting yourself is the issue. They have a lot of torque down low. If you can control the vibration through your proper porting, the right piston, a balanced crank, the everything tight on the motor, no rattling, exhaust port flanges, everything is good, then you got a bike that we are going to prove this summer can beat the new bikes. Junior got a second place in a moto at the NESC at Southwick International Track. The fastest amateur riders in New England were there that day, and a couple weeks ago, and he could have won. And he's got less than 10 hours on his 500, and he's new to the 500. So I've been riding them this year. So these can win against new bikes. I promise you that. The two-stroke was not done away with because it wasn't the best racing engine. It was done away with because of the emissions. They burn oil. They burn an 8-ounce bottle of oil or 4-ounce bottle of oil every day you ride it, whereas a 4-stroke recycles the oil, doesn't burn it, so it's better for the environment. That's why they did two-strokes. So, but KTM knows what's up. They're selling a shitload of two-strokes, and so is in Yamaha. Wish Honda would get back with the game and put out a nice 500, but they haven't. So what we do, we build them ourselves, right, John? John, are any last words of wisdom on building a 500 that you'd like to add after going through this journey?
I guess the biggest thing, you know, when it comes to trying to find those hard to find parts, you know, we go to eBay, you know, we will type in, you know, what we figure is going to be the right description, but what one guy calls it is totally what you might call it. So the best thing is to go online, get the diagram, get the schematics out, get the actual part number, and start putting in part numbers. And you won't believe what you find just putting in a part number versus, you know, a description or just putting in 89500, I don't know, cylinder head or whatever. So yeah, only use part numbers and
where do you find?
Even in Google search,
you can find those on Partzilla, right? You can find
exactly Partzilla, Babbitt's as well. Yeah, just cut and paste the part numbers over, and you probably come up with OEM.
There's a lot of guys like John Grier, Johnny Letty, over in the UK. Phenomenal Liger 550. He's got this putting down 92 rear wheel horsepower on a dyno, on a disappointment dyno, which is absolutely ridiculous. And he uses that for street and supermoto and ice racing. And there's guys like James Payne over in the UK building custom two-strokes. It's a labor of love. John's got literally hundreds of hours into this thing, so if he had to pay a shop to do it, it would have been what we call unobtainium, unaffordable, unless you're a multi-millionaire, billionaire. So there's a lot of guys like John that are building kick-ass machines, and there's a lot of wisdom gained through the process. Each one comes out better than the last. So thanks for watching. Hope you like the bike. Is there anything, Ronnie's our cameraman today, any words that you'd like to add, Ronnie? Or
1776, the best way they made them.
Badass. Anything you'd like to add, John?
No, not really. It's just, you know, again, anybody wants to purchase this bike, I'm always open to offers. But again, it won't be cheap, so no low balls. But if you're serious, I'll definitely consider it.
This is not a low ball bike right here. The 500s are becoming extremely rare and almost difficult to find a good core bike now because most of them are ridden into the ground. Only made so many of them, and they've been getting snapped up by guys like me and John. So if you want one that's done, give us a call, 860-454-7024. Talk to Junior. This one might be up for grabs. It's going to be in the high teens, I can tell you that. He started off at 20,000, so it's worth every penny, in my opinion. So thanks for watching. As always, stay tuned. More good bikes to come. We've got a whole bunch of bikes in the showroom coming your way, and we'll be filming those later this week. As always, God bless America.